race, and then we will be closed out for the winter season for the Sim Race Association. But still, with 1 week to go, we welcome you all to South Boston Speedway and to the Sellars 150. My name is Ola Rebel alongside Austin Edstrom. We are bringing you all of a racing action from start to finish of the 150-lap championship finale from the SRA Straight Stock Minis. Boy, Austin, what a race we are in for this afternoon. You know for a fact it's going to be a good one, and there is still a hotly contested points battle yet to be decided.
Yeah, no kidding. We're deciding the championship here tonight. And one of the big things that needed to happen for Zane Bailey to be able to take the championship fight to Aaron Raymond was to qualify up on the pole. Right now, as qualifying is nearing its end, Zane Bailey is currently up there in the number one spot with Aaron Raymond in second. So it's possible. Raymond has left the door open in qualifying. Zane Bailey's going to have a heck of a race, though, to be able to bring home this championship.
It's going to be a wild show indeed all throughout the course of the night. Taking a look at the championship order coming on over into tonight's racing action. Aaron Raymond, 9 points clear of Zane Bailey. This fight still not over. It will come down to the last race, but Bailey needs a bit of a miracle and a lot of luck if he wants to get himself back into contention for the championship tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. He's going to have to beat Aaron by a good couple of positions, even if he maxes out on the bonus points. And obviously, him getting the pole, that's going to give him 1 bonus point. You're going to make that an 8-point gap up at the top. I got to imagine he's going to be leading at least 1 lap, starting off on the pole too. So if he can prevent Raymond from leading the lap, he's got himself a decent opportunity with the bonus points. But honestly, I really think he's going to need Aaron to get caught up in an incident at some point tonight to be able to bring home the championship. But hey, he's starting himself up on pole. He's giving himself a shot.
He certainly has. That's where you need to start first. But Raymond is to his outside. That's going to make this an even bigger task to manage. But again, not an impossibility. There is always a chance to get himself back up and into racing action this afternoon. You know for a fact this race is going to come down to the wire. You got returning friends, returning foes. We are in for a barn burner finale.
Yeah, no kidding. Like you said, returning foes, Jared Duda back after his 3-race suspension after getting into it with Aaron Raymond. And, well, he's going to be starting in third with Aaron Raymond starting in second. So I got to think we might see some issues between the Dudas and Raymond at some point tonight. And it really makes me think, yeah, Raymond's got the 8-point lead going into the race. But Zane Bailey, even though he doesn't really have teammates, I think just about everybody in the league is wanting him to win this out over Raymond. So he might have a couple friends out there tonight.
Not a suspension member, Jared Duda. Just had to take a step back to deal with some work commitments elsewhere. But all of this leads us to what is, holy cow, I mean, I cannot wait, man. This is one of NASCAR's most famous racetracks, right? They used to run the truck series out here as well. This is a very, very famous racetrack as well. A lot of history behind it, and there is a lot yet to be uncovered of how this race is going to pan on out.
Yeah, I wish the Clash was here. I was actually just telling this to some people last week before I even realized we were coming to South Boston here this Saturday. I wish that this is where we held the Clash for the NASCAR Cup Series. I mean, it's a little quarter-mile bull ring, right? This is the homegrown NASCAR. This is the grassroots. I would absolutely love it if we could get some real-life racing here in one of the main NASCAR series. But hey, we brought the mini stocks here tonight for the championship. That's a decently close second.
Well, we're going to get to all of the gridding and everything that entails in just a moment. For now, though, we are just about ready to get this show on the road. So we're going to take ourselves with a quick step back, and let's sing ourselves the United States of America National Anthem as we get set to go one more time for the Sellars 150.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Time to take a look on how this starting grid is going to pan on out. 150 laps, ready to go to war. One more time for the SRA Mini Stock Series. Started on pole position, it's Zane Bailey with a 16.423 out of the Mid-South alongside Aaron Raymond, 200ths off the mark. Jared Duda from the Midwest starts in third alongside Riot Sim Racing's Scott Rankin. Jim Duda will start down in fifth with Corey Bodinell in sixth for SRC Miller Racing. Paul Witt closes out the top end of the field. And Austin from there, it's Thomas Lane Jr. down in eighth, John Buwalda Jr. in ninth for Jack Dow Motorsports. Noah Swafford in 10th with Joshua Highbaugh in 11th from Michigan. Troy DeWitt, the last car to put down a qualifying time in 12th. Joshua Journey in the 13th. Robert Amaro is in 14th. He has not made the starting call, looking like he is going to be down and out this time around.
Sorry about that. I still have my microphone muted from the national anthem. But yeah, coming through here, Zane Bailey up on the pole. He's gotten himself that one bonus point like we talked about. Cut the gap down to 8 points between him and Aaron Raymond. And this is going to be, it's going to be a quick 150 laps to decide the champion. But Zane Bailey's going to need a lot to happen in those 150 laps to be able to pick up this championship.
Still a long way to go as well, and there is going to be a lot to fight for in championship action here this afternoon. Of course, this race all comes down to the wire. There's no chase system, no playoff system. This will surely be one of those championships where we'll see the best driver of the season be crowned. Pace cars down to the Bennett Road. One final time. Time to get the party started. It's go, go, go from South Boston.
Raymond with a better jump on the outside of the racetrack. Bailey just getting drove by on the outside. Aaron Raymond easily taking the race lead, and, well, he's going to get that bonus point for leading the lap. Zane Bailey did not want to see that, not on lap number 1. Seeing Raymond right in front of him is just not what the number 20 needed in this championship race. Those are the two championship contenders, first and second, side by side for third, right behind them.
Bit of an error on the scoring tower. Noah Swafford, I can guarantee you, is not at the head of this field. This is all coming down to one Aaron Raymond looking to lead the way as it stands. And now, I think that should be sorted now. So I'll pull back our live time, and we should be able to have things sorted now. But Raymond still leading the way early on. Fight is on further down the field, looking at Corey Boda, though, trying to go around the outside of Jim Duda as they fight for fifth.
Oh, Bodeno a little sideways getting into the corner, man. He's sliding just about all the way through it. Not a lot of grip on the outside of the racetrack there for the 34. Trying to make it work, drives it in deeper, but Duda up the racetrack down to the bottom side. Just washing him out all the way to the top side of the racetrack through 3 and 4. Still not able to get cleared. Duda is not, but the 34 still driving it in up to the top side of the racetrack. Just not willing to give up the spot.
Not willing to give this up at all. Jim Duda scrambling to the bottom side of the racetrack with Jim Duda up on top. They've been side by side for about 4 or 5 laps now. That's how long it takes to complete a pass around this racetrack. Raymond pulling away at the head of this field. Oh, contact between the 053 and the 34. Now that's going to muscle Bodeno up the racetrack and almost out of line.
Still side by side between the two, and you don't want to be side by side for long. More contact down to the 1. Duda just about hangs on to it down to the apron to make sure that he hangs on. Still side by side as the 34 grabs the fence out of turn number 2. Somehow these guys beating and banging off of each other, slamming against the wall. It's still side by side, but finally Duda clears off of turn number 4, takes the spot. Bodeno looks to the inside, but he's not going to have a nose in there, and he's just going to have to settle back in the 6th place spot.
No dice there for Bodeno as Paul Witt tried to get a bit of an up and in as well, just a little bit behind. Couldn't make a successful drive. Still packed up all the way back through this field, and up in the number 2 spot, Zane Bailey and Jared Duda are looking to go to work now as Bailey trying to run down Aaron Raymond. Remember how critical it is. Right now, if Bailey finished in the number 2 spot, he would need for Raymond to be finishing, we're talking 10th or lower. Right now, with Raymond leading this race, that's not happening.
Yeah, if Raymond wins the race, obviously absolutely no chance for Zane Bailey. So Raymond being out here in the race lead, this is all that he needs. He wants the clean track. He needs the clean air. He just wants to stay away from as many drivers as possible. Is Zane Bailey going to be able to, or gives up that position easily to the 53, just maybe saving the tires a little bit early on in this one. If this thing runs green, you want to be the fastest at the very end of this thing. Raymond picking up the pace early. Bailey just kind of dropping anchor, and I think he's got a little bit more pace in that thing. Looks like he's saving a bit.
I would have to agree as well. He is definitely trying to back things up a little bit, try to get some fuel conservation going for himself. Jared Duda maintaining his run. Zane Bailey right behind him, working in third. There you got Joshua Highball, John Bawalda Jr. They're still packed up line to stern as they're trying to scrap it out for spots further down the field as well with the 41 and the 5 car. Right now, this pairing, the closest pairing on the racetrack, but it's not too far away from this fight that we've got on for the number 2 spot.
Yeah, Duda still has that slight lead over Zane Bailey, but he's starting to stretch it out ever so slightly down the back straightaway here. About 2 car lengths in between the two. The 53 up in second. Bailey in that number 20. Back in third, a little bit further back. Bodeno has fallen off the back bumper of Jim Duda here for the 5th place position. They had that spirited side-by-side battle for laps at the very, very beginning of this thing. But Bodeno's just seems to be ever so slightly slower than Duda now that they've gotten single file. Duda's just stretching out that gap, and the 34 sideways out of turn number 4, about loses it. Able to hang on. These mini stocks, man, so nice that we can see that right rear step out of the corner. You have to put some counter steer in it. Absolutely love it. That's the markings of a great race car.
Man, I mean, these mini stocks, I mean, this is, for every track, they've been usually pretty tight into these corners. This is really the first track where we see them actually being properly loose all the way around. Haven't seen that much in racing action this afternoon. There's just something about South Boston Speedway that just makes it such a loose racetrack. It's a very old surface that drivers are working here, remember. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
I definitely think that it has something to do with it, but I think a bigger part is you're really trail braking heavy into these corners to make speed. You know, you typically think of trail braking as a road course thing, but man, you come to a little flat short track like this. It's basically 2 road course corners put back to back with some tiny straightaways, and you want to get that nose pointed as soon as possible and let the back end not quite drift, but it almost feels like the back end is stepping out ever so slightly, and you're really running off that right rear tire as you're using the brakes to really turn the car down into the center of the corner. And once you get that nose set, you can really just power on through the rest of the corner. And, well, if you get that weight transfer to the right rear, like a good trail breaker can do, you're going to rip out of these corners and get a good run down the straightaway. Even though they're really tiny, it doesn't seem like you can gain a lot of time. I guarantee you, lap after lap, that advantage adds up.
Joshua Highball down into pit road. He's had big trouble. Look at that left front. That thing is absolutely demolished. Something huge has happened to Highball moments ago.
And it looks like he might have had a compatriot in that. Cody Witt looks like he's got a lot of damage. He is struggling on the outside of the racetrack, so I don't know if maybe those two came together at some point. But right here, Highball down to the bottom. Whoa.
Just got loose. Nailed the sand barrels that protect pit road here.
You know, that paint gives you a little bit more grip. It almost looked like the left side's gripped while the right sides weren't gripping too much, and it just drug him down to the inside of the racetrack as he got on the gas. The right rear stepped out while the left front stayed gripped up on the paint on the inside and just drug that car down to the bottom. If you can really hit the corner right, you want to get it down on the paint. It'll give you a little bit more speed through the center of the corner, make you feel like you can get through there a little bit quicker. But if you get on the throttle just a little bit too early, it could suck you around if you've got the weight a little uneven.
You mentioned Cody Witt going slowly as well. I think he's made the same mistake that he made last week in North Wilkesboro, right? Just putting way too much wheel into that car, not giving it a chance to settle. That's really hurting that 39 inch. And I think that's the big thing that he's trying to fight with right now is major tire wear One driver we haven't seen out all season long, Scott Rankin. I got to be honest, I'm a bit surprised to see him out here on Saturday nights. I mean, he was out here once for the TNGG, well, for the Truck Series when it was dubbed the TNGG IL Truck Series. He said he wasn't going to come back, though. He didn't have a good ending to that series. He wasn't happy with how it went, and he was pretty adamant he wasn't going to be coming back in a competitive sense, but yet here he is running in fourth. Of course, most people nowadays know Scott Rankin on Green Flag TV from his work as second chair over on the SRA Next Gen Cup Series on Sunday nights. He's still got some good wheel in that car too, though.
Well, you know the age-old adage, time heals all wounds. It's been a little bit of time here for Scott Rankin, so maybe you know, he's just kind of gotten over the heartbreak of last season and has moved forward, finding himself in the championship race here tonight. Just you know, maybe enough time's passed where he's kind of gotten over it and ready to go out there and fight for another championship next year.
I'm gonna have to ask him if he's gonna intend on running the Truck Series as well. Preseason for the ASRO Next Gen. Wow, not the ASRO Next Gen Cup Series, the SRA IEL Truck Series season. Preseason for that is kicking off in just actually next week. We kick it off at Daytona, December the 7th, and it's Homestead for 100 laps, Texas for 150, Charlotte for 100, and then on January 4th, Talladega Super Speedway has the last preseason race with an 85-lapper, and Austin, after that, I think that's when you and I are back for the season opener.
Absolutely, that is the plan. I'm looking forward to it. The SRA, or the TNG GIL Truck
Well,
Series.
it's the SRA IL Truck Series now. TNG is the old branding.
You're right. Sorry, it's a little confusing sometimes, but yeah. I've been enjoying it, man. And the trucks with the new change that they had a couple seasons ago, the trucks are better now, and they're a whole lot more fun to watch, a whole heck of a lot more fun to drive. So I'm looking forward to it. Something
going wrong here for Joshua Jernigan. Really slow in pit road. Is he? It looks like he might have messed up the right front of that car. We'll have to wait for it to come around.
Definitely looks like it's limping.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? I mean, it looks like that he must have smacked the wall, something fierce. There's something going on with that car. Do you want to take a look, see what happened to him?
I am backing it up to see if I can get an eye on anything, but I don't see anything of him getting in the wall within the last 5 laps. So I'm still going backwards. I don't see any contact anywhere.
Maybe a technical failure then. We are now working lap 116. Well, working lap 116, 115 to go in this race. So we are almost 40 laps deep into this race so far. Only one real crash to speak of, and that was on the front straightaway with Joshua Highbaugh as he came off of turn number 4. Meanwhile, everyone else.
The earliest thing I can find for Joshua Jernigan is his lap number 22 coming off of turn number 2. He hit the inside wall after getting a little loose. But it wasn't that heavy of contact.
Yeah, well, it could have been enough, though. You never know.
I don't have enough experience in these things to know how fragile they are. You know, I'm so used to driving the Next Gen, which are the tankiest tanks of any tank ever. So, you know, coming to a different car, I just never know how fragile they are. And, well, I think he might have just gotten that left front tire a little dinged up whenever he hit the inside wall.
Well, to be fair, these cars can take a hit, right? I mean, we've seen that all season long. We've seen cars that have gone for full barrel rolls, and they've just kept going like it was nobody's business. I mean, you can tank some pretty hefty licks into this car. Zane Bailey has only dropped since the start of this race. He is suffering from the same problem he's been suffering from all season long. He just burns up all of his stuff too soon. He is great on a short run, but he just doesn't have the long run pace to contend. And I hate to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him going a lap down for the end of this race if this goes green.
You know, you say that, but at the beginning of this race, you know, he dropped to third, almost immediately. So I feel like he didn't really have the short run pace here tonight either. I really thought that at the beginning of this race he was tire saving and holding on to it. But, you know, 40 laps into this thing, you would expect that to start coming back into his favor, and it's obviously not. So he's still just losing time lap after lap to Raymond. So you've absolutely nailed it on the head. His long run pace hasn't been there all year long. But like I said, I thought he was going for more of a long run kind of race tonight, but this doesn't look like it's panning out for him yet.
Nearing 1/3 distance right now, Bailey and Rankin, the closest pair on the racetrack, separated by about half a second from one another. Bailey has dropped 2. Rankin has been holding station ever since he started his race in action this afternoon. Has been looking to try to run down that number 20 car up the road. He is going to be within striking distance within a lap or 2 here.
Yeah, Rankin's been pretty quick the last couple laps getting up to the back bumper of the number 20 as we come out of turn number 4. You can see he can get all the way down to that yellow line coming off the corner. It's really letting him rip the car through the exit of the corner, get on the gas a little bit earlier than Zane Bailey. Oh, I say that. Bailey's getting on the gas about the same time, but he's pushing that nose up across the racetrack towards the wall and ultimately scrubbing rubber off of that right front tire. Rankin's getting it down to that yellow line and letting it rotate all the way until he gets off the corner just about. Here, entering a little bit higher there is Rankin, trying to get a straighter run off the corner. Now that he's kind of getting to the back bumper of the 20, starting to fight a little bit of dirty air, trying to find a better line through, but you can see he exits turn 4 just a little bit lower. Zane, a little bit too much wheel into it. Got that back end stepping around a little bit. And now Rankin closing in ever so slightly once again.
Trying to reel in the gap here just ever so slightly right now. Scott Rankin and Zane Bailey looking to do in some good work together. And again, this isn't like something that's going to be kind of going too far awry. There's a long way that is still yet to go in racing action this afternoon. And I have a feeling we could be in for a good show before this race comes to a full close.
This is the fastest 50 laps I've ever seen in my life, though. You say there's a long way to go. We're already a third of the way through this race. We just started.
Yeah, less than 15 minutes in. I mean, time flies when you're at these types of short track races, right?
Oh my goodness! I'm just flashing back to Nashville, North Wilkesboro. Like, it still took us a little bit of time to get around those places, but South Boston here, man, the quarter mile, 17 seconds to get around. This race is flying by. Already 1/3 of the distance completed, and still not a caution in sight.
Well, I mean, last week, right? I mean, you had the Junior 100 North Wilkesboro Speedway. That race had a caution, and the whole show, including our little count to the start, still under an hour. I mean, these races, they rip by you. The Oxford Plains race, also 150 laps. Again, about 45 minutes in length. We're now a third of the way through, and this, the good thing about this series, right? Even though cautions sometimes can be a bit hard to come by once these guys have figured out how these cars run, they still put on a good show. Cody Witt coming to pit road.
Interesting to see guys starting to come to pit road already. Only 50 laps in. You would think you'd try to run it to a one-stopper, especially in a place like this. I gotta imagine you can make it 75 laps on a tank of gas. I don't know if you can make it quite 150, and I don't know if you would want to on a set of tires, but if you take care of them from the very beginning, like somebody like Raymond or Jared Duda, who's typically tire saving royalty around here, I feel like you can probably make that tire set last the entire time, like Raymond did a couple weeks ago, to be able to lap just about the entire field.
And like he did do to lap the entire field the week before that at Oxford Plains. Corey Bowden, though, whoa, way out of control, sweeps up the racetrack. Paul Witt trying to fight through to get himself up into 6th. Noah Swafford looking to get into the mix. Thomas Lane Jr. looking to get into the mix. This is a battle that's really started to pick up all of a sudden.
Yeah, these two now side by side. Witt's been hanging behind the 34. Oh, he's washing up the outside of the racetrack. A little bit of contact between the two coming off of turn number 4. Paul Witt using absolutely all the racetrack down there on the bottom, trying to push the 34 out wide and just trying to get the spot from him. But Corey is putting up a fight on the outside. We saw how hard it was for Duda to pass Corey whenever they were going at it. Oh, we got a spinner off of turn number 2 down into pit lane as these guys are still fighting it out. Bodeno, Paul Witt going at it while the 39 is getting himself back on the track.
Oh, now Bodeno catches the outside wall. Paul Witt going to get into the mix as well. I think Witt will secure 6th place here, but now they got to contend with lap traffic as well. Bodeno's tires are falling away from 3 wide. Contact again. Swafford down low. Bodeno in the middle. Witt's going to quickly back out from up top. Bodeno back into the outside wall. He is just barely hanging on to that race car.
Man, he just keeps getting...
Oh, no!
No, he has cleared himself across the nose of Bodeno. Bodeno goes tumbling down the front straightaway, and the yellow flag finally waves.
Caution comes out. There goes race leader Aaron Raymond, and that is one of the most violent crashes we have seen all season long. That was inevitable to have happen that way. That is no doubt taking quite a few cars out of contention. Take another look.
That was an exact replay of Noah Swafford doing the exact same thing at North Wilkesboro. He did the exact same thing, clearing himself, trying to just, well, like I said, clear himself off of the corner of turn number 4. And, well, there's a car on the outside. That's 2 weeks in a row that I've seen the same mistake out of the 26.
Take another look as there you see Cody Witt piling in late. Barney the flagman, I think, was a bit delayed on that yellow flag call. Probably ducked for cover when he saw Corey Bodeno get up and into the air. That is a harsh, harsh impact right into the fence.
Where's the yellow flag at? I mean, he's flipping. He's up in the sky down the front straightaway. And we had a very late yellow flag call on that one.
You're a flagman in that case. You're ducking underneath your little box there to try to get any kind of cover that you can get. You don't know what that car is going to do.
If this is real life, yeah, but man, there's a computer program, buddy. He can.
Listen, I'm trying to explain it. Jeez. Let's ride on board here with Joshua Highbaugh. He had a front row seat to this.
Goodness.
And then this Cody Witt came in here very, very late. I'm a bit surprised as to how late he came in to be able to still hit this wreck.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I guess he's got a good view of it the entire time.
It's not like you can't see what's happening. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that you can come up with that makes that acceptable.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a light touch, so it's not that bad, but there was definitely a brake pedal to be used there.
Yeah. Look at it, how high this car gets off the wall. That is just brutal.
Oh my goodness. I'd love to be in the first row of seats right there.
No kidding.
You know, unless it came through the catch fence, then I might be a little worried.
Lights around one of the iRacing pace car. We'll stack them up. We'll double them up. 7 cars remain on the lead lap. We'll restart this race and get back to it. Wow. Only 2 cars are double file to the restart. Where is the field? There is no one left after this.
There's a couple wave rounds coming around, too, that hadn't quite caught up. I think there's 2 guys coming out of 4 at the same time. Swafford's rejoining the field now off of turn number 2. So the field's pretty spread out. Oh, tight between the front 2. Raymond and Duda going at it down the front straightaway. Duda looking to take the race lead as we're nearing the halfway point.
Now, I'm immediately flashing back to Langley when they had some major slugfest, and I'm going to be honest, it got out of control at the Langley Speedway. No doubt that's what's on Jared Duda's mind right now as well. Jared thinks he was done dirty. Raymond thought all's fair in times of war, and right now I think we're about to see round 2.
Duda's going for the over-under. He got a little low. I thought he might have been losing that out of turn 4. He got a little sideways, able to hang on to it. Didn't quite get the run that he wanted on Raymond coming out of turn number 4. But Duda's just going to have to regroup and re-challenge. He was looking to, he's kind of hanging on to the same gap through that first run off the back bumper of Raymond as the tires started wearing. I got to think Duda might have a little bit more speed on the very, very late end on tires, but is he going to be able to have this thing run green to the end to be able to utilize that, utilize that advantage at the very end of the run?
Looking like Jared Duda may have lost that momentum for the time being. This was what we saw at Langley as well, right? He was not able to really contend on a long run pace. Once Raymond got clear, he had to make those aggressive moves as early as he possibly could on a run in order to even stand a chance. I think he might have missed his mark off of the restart. Got another battle way down the field. This is between Bodeno and Paul Witt. Bodeno still in the race after going skyward. He was just bumped off at the top 5, though.
Somehow still on the lead lap. He was in the sky, and he is in the lead lap. How in the world? How is Bodeno still, was in the top 5, still running in 6? Incredible resiliency by either the car or the driver, maybe a little bit of both.
Now Corey Bodeno going to continue to chug along. You think right now nursing some engine damage, which is why we see him lacking any kind of speed on the straights. I mean, look at how quickly Thomas Lane Jr. is able to pounce on him down the back stretch after they had about the same run off of turn 2. And Lane going to take that one away, go up to 6th, bump Bodeno down to 7th off of turn 4. And of course, there's your race leader, still holding strong. Bailey and Jared Duda within distance, though, if Raymond makes a mistake. Which, frankly, I think that's unlikely.
Yeah, I think Bailey's going to need Duda and Raymond to get into each other. I don't think Raymond's just going to make a mistake out here driving by himself up in the race lead. Very, very, very unlikely. Even with half the race to go, we just haven't seen a lot of major level mistakes out of Raymond all season long, or the season before that, or the season before that. So, probably not going to happen like that. But if Duda gets up there, you never know.
It's not an impossibility. I mean, remember, these drivers have history. And from my understanding, Jared Duda is going to try to come out to whatever races he can, whatever his busy schedule allows for. So you never know. There's always that wrench in the works that could kind of throw things up for Aaron Raymond. I mean, there's not a lot of drivers that would complain about seeing Raymond get into some misfortunes here in the Sim Racing Association. I mean, he's got a bit of a reputation about him, right, for being extremely aggressive, sometimes to his own detriment, and sometimes to the detriment of everybody around him. And that flashes all the way back to the very first season we ever broadcasted for this league with their truck series almost 2 years ago now, about just how critical it can be to try to make friends at races like these. You stick around and your driving style doesn't change, if people don't like that style, they're going to remember it every time they see you on the racetrack.
And I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here for Aaron Raymond. And now I'm not on the racetrack with these guys, so I can't say it for sure because I have not experienced it like some people have complained about with him, with his driving style. Like you said, over-aggressive. Sometimes you get into leagues, and whenever one guy wins a lot of races and can come through the field just quicker than other guys can and make moves that other guys can't, all of a sudden they get that label of too aggressive. They're pushing people around. They're doing things they shouldn't. And don't get me wrong, I think Raymond definitely has ruffled a couple feathers, but sometimes that just gets overblown whenever you're winning all the time.
To an extent, yes. I think this season it's been actually pretty good for Aaron Raymond. He's run a very good season, a clean season for the most part, Langley notwithstanding. Some of the earlier truck series antics I think are questionable. I know quite a few drivers are still remembering the Eldora Speedway race where there were, well, the story for another time. But, he's run a good season for the time being. He's definitely proven he deserves to win this championship. He's won half the races in a short 8-week season. He's put down a very solid argument for why he deserves to be a champion. Right now, he is trying to go to take his 5th win of the season, and that would be the hat trick for 3 in a row.
Yeah, and it would just be the icing on the cake right at the end of the season because he has just been so good. He's obviously the reigning champion in the truck series, coming in here to the mini stock series during the off season and has just lit the world on fire. And it's honestly a big testament to Zane Bailey for keeping this championship as close as he has, because Raymond has been lights out all season long, and yet Bailey's got this thing to within 8 points after qualifying. It looks like it's going to be too little too late for Bailey, but right now he's running about even lap times with Raymond.
Yeah, he's not run a bad season either, and that's the thing that has been, I think, a constant point of contention with Zane Bailey as well, right? I mean, even in the last Truck Series season he ran a phenomenal season, but it wasn't a championship-winning season. I think he deserved a podium, but I think the argument was just too great for somebody else to take up the top spot. Bailey's a driver that can very, very consistently be in the top 5, be up towards the top 3, but he's never really in the lead of these races, and that is where he consistently falls short, because while, yes, you need to be consistent, and consistency wins races, if the guys ahead of you are consistently winning races, just being consistently 3rd isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, and that ultimately, in the real world, I hate that, in NASCAR, if you finish 3rd every single race, man, you should win the championship more often than not. But here on the sim, well, if you finish 3rd in a league every single race, there's odds are that somebody's probably finishing 1st or 2nd every single race just ahead of you. So it's just something you just got to be aware of. You've got to find that race-winning pace on a more consistent basis to really be able to go out here and win a championship in these leagues. And I don't mean to harp on Zane Bailey because, like we said, he's had a heck of a season, had a great season, and is going to finish P2 in the championship unless something crazy happens at the end of this race. And, it's a testament to how good he's done. But, man, he's just that tiny step off that, if he could just find that little bit more pace, he would be right there.
We've talked a lot about the different series that the Sim Racing Association is going to have for us throughout the course of the year, and there's a lot, right? I mean, we've talked about the preseason race for the Truck Series. We talked about the Truck Series proper. There is, of course, the NAS Classic Series, which has been officially announced now. Gen 4 cars, but the catch, drivers have to run a period-accurate paint scheme to their car number. I really, really love that idea. I'm going to be honest. I mean, that's going to be awesome. It's effectively like a throwback league. And then after that, there's going to be a brand new Gen 6 Cup Series as well. Flashing back to the old Gen 6 cars that were used up until about 2008. 19, I want to say, and then they were, no, I'm thinking about the bottom
2021 was the last year of the Gen 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking about when they switched from like the bad Gen 6 to what actually ended up being a good Gen 6 car, and then NASCAR changed it for no reason.
Excuse me?
Well, you know, Super Speedways at least. Oh, trouble, Cody Witt.
Oh, okay.
I think Cody Witt has just had problems.
Looking like we're getting another yellow. I was about to say, man, if you liked the 2019 draft package that they had at the 1.5 miles, I was going to judge you big time. But at the Super Speedways, it was great. But yeah, Cody Witt, just a little bit too low down on the apron. 2 wheels down on the apron, 2 wheels up on the track. A little bit of
and that's where the
alternate banking. Yeah, tough.
That's a shame. Well, I tell you what, I mean, we got a good opportunity right now to be able to kind of run through the NAS Classic Series. We talked about the Truck Series schedule a lot, right? I forgot your name. Austin. There we go. We've only worked together for how long now? Good grief.
Wow. That hurts.
Jared Duda, by the way, pushing Aaron Raymond in pit road. It's an interesting tactic. Zane Bailey pulls into his box, so they are going to be in for some service. Let's run through the NAS Classic schedule, though. I mean, we haven't been able to really do that much. We posted it, but we can actually kind of dissect this because, I mean, we're going to be commentating the whole thing, right? So, there's 2 races at Daytona to kick things off. There's the SRA Shootout, 75 laps, and then the Daytona 200. That's to kick things off. Then it's Auto Club, then Las Vegas, then Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that's the new one, I'm pretty sure. Then Bristol Motor Speedway, then the Martinsville Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, the old Phoenix Raceway, then Talladega, Richmond, Darlington, Charlotte, and Dover to close out this season. Dover's an interesting pick for a season finale.
I love that. I love that. That's a perfect pick for a season finale. That is a driver's racetrack right there. Whoever came up with that is a genius.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad pick. It's just an interesting pick. It's not really a track you see often. It's more one, that's usually one you do right middle of the season. But
no, I get what you're saying, but man, you got to pick a driver's racetrack for the championship. Unlike NASCAR, who puts it at the dumbest racetrack that we have at Phoenix, picking Dover, man. You can run all over that racetrack. You can figure out different grooves. There are different ways that you can get throughout the corner, whether you drive it in super hard, whether you really lift early and save tires and go for the long run. Dover's a fantastic racetrack on this sim. Great pick.
It's a great schedule overall. Cannot wait for that. Scott Rankin has not pitted under the latest yellow flag, so he's going to be a serious cork in the bottle for Aaron Raymond here.
And Rankin obviously going to be able to determine when we go on this restart, as long as he goes before that green flag starts waving. And should be able to get out to a little lead, but obviously Raymond should overtake him quickly. It's just, is it going to present an opportunity for Duda or Zane Bailey to get by him in the early going?
50 laps to go. We're going to be in the final third of this race. It's a sprint to the end. All drivers are good to go the distance. Scott Rankin in control. The driver out of Australia. Going to be diving down into the restart zone. Launch is good. Zane Bailey did not go at all. Jared Duda shoving Aaron Raymond into the gap down to the turn 1. Raymond's looking for the lead.
Raymond down to the inside off of turn number 2. He's got his nose in there. Rankin way up the racetrack. Duda giving a little bit of a bumper. They're going to be 3 wide coming off of turn number 4. Duda all the way down to the inside. Raymond squeezing out Rankin. And Raymond's going to be able to keep the lead. No contact. Duda really driving him through into turn number 2. Contact between the two.
Oh, and they're fighting. Whoa, boy!
Zane Bailey kick flips down the back straightaway, and the 3 leaders all crash.
And that could be the championship deciding move as well. Austin, oh boy, that's a bit embarrassing. But I tell you what, we can't really fist fight on the racetrack, with actual driver avatars on iRacing. That's about as close to a fist fight as you can possibly get.
I might be throwing hands. If that was me in real life, I would be a little mad. I would definitely be throwing hands with somebody coming down to turn number 1.
I promise you, that is Langley. That is payback for Langley there from Jared Duda, 100%. No way he did not have that in his mind.
Just more contact on the exit of turn number 2. Oh.
Raymond might have tried to force him into the pit wall there.
Yeah, I think I think it was payback from Langley, and then Raymond was immediately paying back, driving him down to the inside. And well, I guess the championship's anybody's best guess at this point. I don't know which one's not damaged.
Jeez.
I mean, I think Bailey's might be out. I mean, like I said in the moment, he kickflipped down the back straightaway. I don't know if you can come back from that.
On board with Aaron Raymond. You see Jared Duda stuffing it in. I mean, yeah, he tried to put him into the pit wall. That was retaliation going overboard, and poor Zane Bailey was the innocent bystander there. And granted, I'm not going to say that Jared Duda was right. Jared Duda is 100% in. He is just as much in the wrong there as Aaron Raymond is for retaliating like that afterwards. But I'm telling you, right? I mean, it's that over-aggression that we have seen from two drivers time and time again. We knew it was an inevitability, and sooner or later, that was going to happen.
Oof. I wish it didn't. That was,
I do too,
that was a big one that could play into the championship here. Surprisingly, Bailey and Raymond are still lining up for this restart. I don't know how Bailey's car's alive. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I am not going to try to defend Jared Duda there and say that he was in the right. He absolutely was not. I'm not going to defend Aaron Raymond, though, and say that he had a right to do that either because, well, yeah, you want to retaliate against the guy. Now you've taken out 5 other cars, including your main championship rival, that are all involved in that as well. I mean, what was the point? That was such a pointless wreck.
Well, I guess we'll figure out the point over the course of the next 40 laps, huh?
Yeah, 43 to go.
It's going to shake it up. Rankin's still in the lead.
Raymond's right behind Jared Duda as well, so keep an eye out on this restart here. Yep, there it is, already getting to the back bumper. Raymond is pissed off, and I do not blame him at all. I think both drivers are going to be driving angry now for the rest of this race. Jared Duda is running right now, cuts to the inside of Paul Witt, trying to make a run for the lead.
Yeah, Duda is pulled away from Raymond behind. No,
are you kidding me?
More contact off at 2. Witt goes spinning. Both Dudas crashed down the back straightaway. What in the world are we watching?
Jim Duda up on his side, tumbling into turn 3. Gotta be one of the weirdest wrecks that we've ever seen on Green Flag TV. We slow it down again. Someone's gotta put the foot down. This is out of control.
Goodness gracious. Well, this coming off of 2 here, I don't know if this was Duda or Witt coming down. I mean, Duda's definitely coming off the bottom. Witt's pinching him a little bit.
They
honestly, they just meet in the
hooked.
middle. Yeah, these cars, the way the bodies work, I really do feel like they get hooked onto each other and just kind of grab on. But I don't. Duda just, again, another little half kick flip that time. I have no idea. This has devolved pretty quickly over the course of the last 10 or 15.
I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of what we're seeing here either. I mean, this is a new level of violence that we are seeing on this racetrack. We're right on board this time with Jared Duda. Try to get a better angle to that. That was already kind of in progress. Holy cow! You can see. Yeah, he was trying to keep it off. They kind of got hooked together. Kind of give him the benefit of the doubt of that. Raymond was able to escape that relatively unharmed, shockingly. And that's now put Aaron Raymond into the race lead.
Goodness gracious. Well, and Raymond and Bailey are hurt. They were slower than these guys on that restart. I don't know if they're going to be able to hang on to the lead. Are they going to drop through the pack, or either of these guys are going to have the speed up front? We know that they were in a big accident. At that point, everybody that was just quicker than them all just got cut up in that accident. So is there even a decent car left on the track? I don't know.
And again, you look at the height that Jim Duda carried, and he ended up, I think, trapped. Yeah, he was turtled up on his roof, so he couldn't even get himself righted. That is unbelievable. That's now 2 flips that we've had, almost 3, and 2 of them within 10 laps of each other.
Gracious.
And now look who's right behind Aaron Raymond again. We're not done. There's going to be more. There's no way it ends there after everything that's happened this race.
Oh, man.
I really hope that somebody has told them to knock it off because, I mean, these are championship implicating wrecks constantly. You can't have this in this kind of a race.
Well, let's hope that the craziness is over.
Pace cars down to the pit road, 36 to go. We're back to racing. Zane Bailey with a great launch. Dead even with Aaron Raymond as they get down into turn number 1. Corey Boda, though, trying to go for the middle. Look at the charge from Bailey up top.
Bailey trying to wrap the fence, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it out of turn number 4. Raymond able to clear him. Side by side for third behind him. Somehow Bodeno is all of a sudden into the top 3. He was the first one that we saw wrecking, flying through the sky earlier in the race. Now he's fighting around the outside of Jared Duda for the 3rd place spot.
And Zane Bailey was on his roof less than 15 laps ago as well, and he's now up into the top 3 as well. There's a lot that can happen in short track racing, man. Oh, look out! Almost right rear hook, and Jared Duda up into the wall as Bodeno got a bit crossed up. Paul Witt now to the inside. Up the racetrack, and now Scott Rankin looking to get back into the mix.
Witt able to take that 4th place spot away from Bodeno, trying to now reel in Jared Duda up there in 3rd, but man, the front 2 are starting to gap everybody else. I think the damage out of that last wreck is really starting to hurt Duda, Witt, Bodeno from the very early one. Rankin, though, on the newest tires, trying to come through now in that number 12, looking to the inside of the 34, not able to get there off of turn number 2. Gonna have a decent battle for the 3rd place spot to the end of this thing, though. If we stay green, it's just, can Bailey end up getting up to Raymond?
31 coming to 30 laps to go. This time by Scott Rankin is still in the mix. Jared Duda, Zane Bailey are all still up and in there. Man, I mean, this race has just been turned up on its head more than once. And somehow, we now have relatively the same running order that we did all the way back about 50 laps ago before this mayhem all kicked off.
Do you think we have any more mayhem in store for us over the last 30 laps?
If we get another caution, absolutely.
I'm a little worried to see Duda line up behind Raymond again, to be honest. I would be a little scared if I was the driver of the number 6 coming down to turn number 1. I'm surprised there wasn't more contact on this last restart. I thought for sure Duda would fire him on in there.
Corey Bodeno really closing into the tail end of Paul Witt as these guys try to maintain their momentum. Under 30 to go here in this one. Bodeno really wrapping the bottom lane. And I think he's trying to cover off charges from Scott Rankin, who really wants to get back up into the top 5 here.
Yeah, Rankin looking on the number 34, but nothing really entering turn 3. He enters really, really wide, trying to go for the cutback, but not going to be able to get the momentum that he needs to be able to make a move on Bodeno. He's going to have to get all the way up to that back bumper, maybe even give him a shot down into the corner to really be able to wedge him off the bottom side of the racetrack and go through. Rankin might have one of the cleaner cars in the field at this point, but just has not been able to get past the 34 or the 429.
Then you, of course, have Corey Bodeno, Paul Witt in the mix. You got the 12 of Scott Rankin still in there. Bodeno giving the bumper to the Detroit Lions, number 429. Trying to get there. Oh, no! Rankin gets there first. They're both turned sideways. Saves it. They both pull off a great save in turn 2.
I can't believe they just didn't hit the brakes in turn 3. He's in the fence. What in the world was that?
Caution number 5, and all of a sudden, this race is going to get crazy.
He almost destroyed Paul Witt coming down to turn 3. I don't know what the heck Bodeno was thinking coming down to the corner.
That was with Scott Rankin, and he's going to get a perfect view of what happened to Bodeno here. He might have had a stuck throttle.
I hope. That was, not what you expect coming down to 3, especially at South Boston. You definitely got to use the brake pedal here.
Yeah, stuck throttle. Stuck throttle.
Man.
Yeah, that thing was pinned fully to the floor, and it caught just before he hit the wall. Because there's no reason why Corey should be so angry with Paul Witt. I mean, they haven't had any kind of trouble all night.
That's what I thought. I was like, what in the world is he dog bombing Paul Witt for?
I mean,
don't think
I
he did
guess
anything,
there was
right?
the tiny little bump and run before, but that's just like the tiniest little bumper, and that was Corey giving it to Paul. That's a hard hit into the fence as well.
Yeah, I don't know if there was anger there.
I don't think so. That looks like a hardware failure.
That's fair. It also looks like he's diving in there trying to take the guy out. So, I think one of us are probably right. I'm gonna, out of hope for the sanctity of the iRacing service, I'm gonna hope that you're right and I'm wrong.
We'll restart with less than 20 laps to go. Jared Duda came down a pit road under that caution. So Jared Duda will be restarting his race back in 5th, and Raymond's up front. I think Jared Duda is trying to gamble on fresh tires, trying to go for some last-minute glory here.
Might as well give yourself an advantage, right? If you're not going to be able to win the race heads up on the same tires, put yourself on a different strategy. I don't blame him. I like the call from Duda to at least give himself a chance coming to the end of this thing. And, you know, he's got a lot of damage, so you might as well mitigate that damage by putting yourself on a little bit fresher rubber.
Well, and it's more viable when there's only about 6 cars on the lead lap, so he doesn't even lose that much track position. If there was still like 12 on the lead lap, I would say it's not worth it. You can't make that much time up in 20 laps in a short track. But 4 spots, that's doable in this amount of time.
Again, I'm just worried about the damage because he's got a lot of front end damage on that thing. How slow is he going to be in the front line? Well,
Pace car's off, 18 laps the distance. Green flags out. Paul Witt alongside with Raymond as we hit turn 1.
Raymond down to the inside, Duda all over the back bumper of Zane Bailey there through turns 1 and 2. Raymond just about clear, decides not to clear himself across the nose of Paul Witt. And Witt's going to drive it in deep. Hang on to that right rear of Raymond all the way through 3 and 4. He's still out there. Witt just kisses the fence, and he's going to be side by side for second now as Raymond clears for the race lead. Duda on those newer tires, still not able to get by Zane Bailey, as Bailey trying to clear Witt, but he's not able to do it either.
Yeah, not a lot of dice right now for Jared Duda on the fresh rubber, but critically, Bailey's keep within striking distance of Aaron Raymond. This championship still isn't over. Jared Duda almost gets to the back of Bailey. Zane Bailey now trying to go for the lead. Dives to the inside. Can't get there on Raymond. Paul Witt and Scott Rankin side by side for the number 4 spot. Meanwhile, it is all a battle for the top spots. Bailey knows he's in a must-win scenario, but even then, he needs Raymond to be finishing at least down in 10th, and that time is running out quick.
Duda's to his inside. Duda looking to the inside of Bailey whenever Bailey was just getting to the back bumper of the leader. Gonna cost him a couple tenths of a second there, coming back to the line. Oh, and now Bailey a little twitchy down into turn number 2, but he's just a little bit quicker than Raymond right now. He just needs Duda to let him take the fight to the number 6 at this point. Oh, Raymond sideways. Bailey has to check up for him to not run him over. Oh, Bailey did him a huge favor there coming out of 4.
I guarantee you, a Circuit 53 car probably would not have done him the same favor. Jared Duda tucks back in line. I think he's trying to let these guys fight it out for the title at this point in time. Bailey, once again, looking low. Can't get there. A dozen laps to go in the Sellars 150.
Bailey's just got to be a little bit more aggressive. I know you don't want to do it, but man, this is for the championship. Move him out of the way a little bit. Put him in harm's way. You know Duda doesn't like him. Ship him out of the groove just a little bit and see if Duda goes at him and maybe drops him back to 5th, 6th, 7th. You never know. Bailey's got to get a little bit more aggressive. 11 to go. You're running out of time.
10 laps to go. This time by Zane Bailey doesn't go for the dive this time. He was definitely close enough. He could have had the look if he wanted to. Now it's going to try again, coming down towards turn number 1. 10 laps on the docket for the priority auto number 6, trying to hang on to go for the hat trick and win number 5 this afternoon. At this point, if he finishes anywhere inside the top 5 or even on the lead lap, he is secure with that championship. He needs to finish at least 10 laps down. I think Raymond has just won this championship. I think it's impossible for him to lose it on points because he can't drop back enough laps.
Yeah, I think Raymond has the championship locked up. I got to think you're right. Duda looking to the outside of Bailey now as Bailey might finally find the inside of Raymond, but coming out of the corner, Duda's going to keep the right rear and maybe get himself up to 2nd. He looks a little quicker than Bailey. He's flying around the outside of turns 1 and 2 as we've got 8 laps to go coming down the back.
8 laps remain. Jared Duda, he can take that move around the outside. Aaron Raymond is vulnerable right now. but Duda needs to get clear of Zane Bailey if he wants to have a chance of going for the lead. Bailey a little bit crossed up in 1 and 2 this time by. 3 cars all under a blanket. Scott Rankin is also within half a second, still in the fight for the lead as well.
Yeah, Rankin's coming out of nowhere, kind of putting these guys under pressure now. That number 12 looking to the inside of Duda, as Duda could not get the outside group to work against Bailey. And now Bailey with another chance to challenge Raymond for the final race win on the season. Bailey might not be able to win the championship anymore, but man, you got to think that that race win would come in handy at the very end of this thing. Just a little feather in your cap.
5 laps to go in the Sellars 150 this afternoon. Once again, Jared Duda trying for the inside of Zane Bailey. No dice. As Raymond taking this one around. 4 laps to go at the line. Bailey running out of time quickly.
Oh, Raymond a little twitchy there, but Bailey didn't have a good enough run coming off of the corner, coming across the stripe once again. 4 laps to go, but they're side by side for second. Contact between Duda and Bailey coming off of turn number 2, and that might be all Aaron Raymond needs to see to be able to bring home the checkered flag.
3 laps left in this one. Bailey sideways almost gets into the outside wall and almost back down into Jared Duda. Can Duda clear for the number 2 spot? If he can, he could try to take the fight to Raymond for the win.
Bailey got the fence out of 2. That's going to let Duda clear him for that position. 2 laps to go. We've seen these guys get into it tonight already. Does Duda have anything left for Aaron Raymond up in the lead?
If he does, this is going to come down to a Hail Mary bump and run. It would not be the first time. Remember Langley and how violent that finish came down. It came down to an intent wreck at the line for the W. White flag in the air as Jared Duda closing. Slams the back end of Aaron Raymond. Tried to move him. He didn't get him enough. Raymond did step it out sideways. Won't be enough to take the W. And it will be Aaron Raymond, win number 3, a 3-wide fight for second. Bailey takes second, and Aaron Raymond takes the SRA Mini Stock Series Championship.
Goodness gracious, Duda gave it a shot. He gave it a shot, but man, more often than not in iRacing, you try the bump and run, and the guy in front does not budge. I can tell you that from experience. And there, Raymond just did a good job hanging on to that thing and able to bring it home as the champion and the winner of the race. What a race it was from Aaron Raymond, overcoming adversity at the midway point. A little bit of argy-bargy throughout the course of this race, and well, Aaron Raymond ends up bringing home the checkered flag.
Boy, Jared tried. He really tried, and he did get him, but just didn't get him enough. He had to get him on the quarter entry, I reckon. And on quarter exit, Raymond was just too good for Jared to have anything for him.
Yeah, it's tough. Whenever you hit somebody square, there's just not much that you're really going to be able to get out of it. I just feel like he hit him really, really square in the back bumper. In real life, you probably get away with that and move him up the racetrack. But here on iRacing, it just doesn't really seem to work the same way because he gave him a good shot, but Raymond just did not budge.
So Aaron Raymond will be able to take home the championship this afternoon. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results for the final race of season number 1 here. From the priority auto number 6, he takes the hack trick with 1 big win to cap off the championship, win number 5 on the season. Zane Bailey was second with Scott Rankin back in 3rd. Jared Duda, after his swing and a miss, will end up having to drop back to 4th place as a result of all of that last lap carnage. Paul Witt was in 5th with Lane in 6th. Bualda, Swapper, Bodeno, and Duda close out the top 10.
And then it's Cody Witt, Joshua Jernigan, Joshua Highball, and Robert Amaral running out the 14-car field here tonight.
And being 13, as Amaral, of course, did not take the start of this race here this afternoon. Take a quick back on what happened here to this battle for the number 3 spot on that closing lap. I mean, contact between Rankin, oh boy, way up the racetrack, and it ended up being a drag race for 3rd, one that Rankin just barely squeezed the win out of. And, well, I think with that, we could get a chance to talk down to all of the drivers that took us through an awesome race this afternoon to close things out. And we'll, of course, look to bring it up first and foremost with none other than Aaron Raymond himself. The driver out of Highgate, Vermont, comes home 1 final win on the season to close things out. Aaron, this championship has been a long one coming, and I know that it's great to be able to get a hat trick in the closing race as well.
Yeah, this race went better than I expected in a few ways. I want to thank Zane there for racing me cleanly when he was definitely faster than me and had multiple opportunities to move me up the track, but he chose the right thing and raced me clean and raced me hard, and I want to shout him out for that.
Speaking of racing hard, Jared Judah, of course, made his return, and I know things came to blows to you guys a couple of times throughout the course of the night. First thing that came to mind, and we talked about it a bit, flashing back to Langley. Your take on what was an aggressive race with that 53 car all throughout whenever he was with you?
I'm not going to comment on that. If you want to talk about it in private, we can, but best to keep my mouth shut and let the admins handle that.
All right, sounds like a plan. As well, we look now, I think, to the Truck Series. You, of course, have gotten championships in the SRA Truck Series as well. 5 preseason races kick off next week. And when we return, it'll, of course, be for the main championship as well. Are we going to see you back and fighting for another crown?
I'm going to try my best. Like the trucks, it's a little bit similar to driving these things, so I'm going to do my usual.
Sounds like a solid plan. Aaron, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And Raymond comes home, one final win and a championship to boot. We'll move on down now to Zane Bailey, the driver that is second place tonight, as well as in the championship. He is standing by with Austin Edstrom.
Zane, man, another second place finish. It sucks at the end of the night that it ends up being second in the race, second in the championship, but at the end of the day, another great championship run for you, finishing up towards the front. You gave it your all the way towards the end. Obviously, you needed Raymond to finish, outside the top 5, back in about 8, to really have a decent shot. But what were you thinking through the middle of that race, especially during that accident that caught you and Raymond up in it? Did you think that you had a chance after that maybe one of y'all were super damaged, or were you just kind of reserving yourself just to fight for the race win at the end of the day?
I knew I had a chance. I was just trying to get back up there after I was involved in that wreck. I almost made it through, but got caught up in it. Congrats to Aaron on the championship. He was like the fastest guy pretty much every single week.
Well, Zane, on that accident, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody do a kickflip down the back straightaway in one of these cars and then somehow almost win the race in the end. How the heck was your car okay? And then at the end, after that, how in the world did you get it back up to the front after flipping down the back straightaway?
I mean, fast repair. Like, I'm surprised it still had a motor.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that you could even get that thing back to the pit road after that, to be honest. But you still put yourself into position at the very end of this thing to potentially bring home a win. What more did you need at the end of that? I felt like you were just a little bit quicker than Raymond, but you just couldn't get by. What was maybe the missing piece?
I don't know. Like, it's really hard to pass here. Like, if you try to go down below, you get no run, you just get loose. I mean, there really isn't too many options to pass.
I'd have to agree with you on that. It's a pretty tough racetrack, and you were doing it the right way, doing it very clean, which we definitely didn't see too much from other people tonight. So we appreciate you, putting on a good show for us tonight, keeping it clean at the end of it. Do you have anybody to thank at the end of this championship run here where you came up just a little bit short?
Yeah, Thomas, Moser Racing, that we're clients for veterans, and all the admins.
Well, Zane, congratulations on coming second in the race and in the championship this year. Like I said, great season for you, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do in the Truck Series coming up.
Yep, thank you.
All righty, that was your second place finisher in the race and in the championship, Zane Bailey. And next up, I think we're going to be talking to Scott Rankin.
We sure are. Scott Rankin comes in, and, well, first off, welcome back, buddy. We didn't expect to see you out here again in SRA competition. Nice to see you back out on the racetrack. You come home with a solid third place tonight, and it's a bit of a shock third place as well after things came to blows on the final lap. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were just, I was definitely not quickest. It literally took me about 120 laps to figure out actually how to extract the pace out of the car. That's probably not that far, but yeah, look, once we found it, there was no looking back. It was really nice to set up. I mean, it's just good to be back racing. I was just cleaning up my house and decided to jump on Discord, have a look around, and sort of got the cleaning done, wanted a break from everything, and yeah. But hey, SRA's right there. I haven't been in race with these guys for a fair while. Let's give it a bell.
We were not quite expecting to see you out here, of course, tonight. We thought potentially your career with these guys might have been over after the Truck Series season that you had with them. Does this mean we might see you back for regular competition?
The biggest issue is timing and just consistency of being able to make the races. Schedule's just packed, and Sunday mornings Not a good time slot, particularly in the middle of cricket season. Spend all day Saturday out chasing a piece of red leather around a field. Means I got to try and get the housework done at some point, and that's normally Sundays, but got rained out yesterday. So I'll probably run a part-time schedule. I'll just be here and there whenever I've got time, really. I definitely want to be back in racing, and yeah, we'll see.
That sounds like a solid plan. Scott, it's always a pleasure to be able to talk to you up here in the booth. And,
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. It's not a pleasure. You don't like talking to me. What the? Get out.
It's a job on Sundays, but it's a pleasure on Saturdays. 'Cause it means you're doing well on the track.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you as well. Scott Rankin comes home from Grafton, New South Wales, as he will take home the number 3 spot here this afternoon in a bit of a shock fashion, an all-out drag race off the final corner. Austin, just like that, as quickly as it arrived, it leaves. The SRA Mini Stock Series is complete for its first season of competition, but that doesn't mean SRA competition is stopping for long. We got the preseason races coming up, 5 of them, and then of course it's the main truck series season coming up in January, and pretty much weekly racing action booked in every single week, pretty much from here straight through until about July or August of 2025. So there's never going to be a shortage of Saturday night action to keep us entertained.
No gas. No breaks here on Green Flag TV. That's the way we like it. That's the way we keep it. Now, I say that, but you do kind of have a little bit of an off month coming up in December. Well, you still got a little bit, but once January rolls back around, we're getting right back on the gas, and it is going to be nonstop all year long. I cannot wait to see what we have in store for us next season on Green Flag TV.
There's still a lot left to come into play as well. When it comes to racing action, we return on Monday nights, where the High Tide Racing League and Racing Design's Premier Series get set to duke it out in the last great Coliseum. Bristol Motor Speedway hosts the 11th round of their 3rd season of competition. The Beer League is out to the Red Bull Ring. And then, of course, the SRL Winter Series has their season opener at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with twin 30-minute features, one with the treat stocks, one with the mini stocks at the 1.5-mile oval. Going to be like Daytona to those tiny race cars. So a lot of fun racing action is yet to come. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. As always, my name is Noel Rempel alongside Austin Edstrom. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you all once again when we return on Saturday nights.